The Central Club.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's Colourish from the Central Club podcast. This episode is brought to you by Re-Inspire Printing and Weekend Defender. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Please subscribe to the club and hit the bell button to be notified of future content. Today, we've got a fascinating guest for you guys. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in the comments, you know who you are, who will probably get offended by this. But if this is something that you're not into, then just don't watch. We've got a big catalogue of guests that don't fit this alignment. Go and watch them. Or maybe, like what we're trying to do, is push a narrative to gain understanding and create dialogue, and watch this with an open mind. I warmly welcome the man who I come across on TikTok a few months back now, and Unity for Britain. Unfortunately, his account got hacked. He is now Unity for Britain 2. It's Mr. Stephen Eldridge.
So I'm going to correct you there, because it's Unity for Great Britain too. There you are.
Unity for Great Britain 2. And that's the handle, yeah?
Yeah, that's the handle, yeah. That's the handle.
Thank you for coming.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
No worries, mate. How was your trip to Cardiff?
Do you know what? It's not that bad, because I live on the southwest of London now, not southeast. If I'd been at home, it would have took me 4.5 hours. But because I live south, it's like 2.5 hours. Not too bad. Not
Yeah.
too bad. Apart from when you get here and it's 20-mile-an-hour labour zones.
Yeah. I wonder how many speed tickets you bought.
Oh, mate, please. I don't know. I set the tone thing on it to not go too fast, but you know, you only need 4 in your band, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's really, really great to have you here. And it's weird how things work out, because, I come across you on TikTok. I try to stay off it sometimes, but just going on there to upload our own content, you just naturally come across other stuff, and, really appreciated what you was talking about, and wanted to question him more. And I feel like a lot of people across the country are feeling this way. And people will be quick to judge or say you're wrong, but it's more and more people feeling this way. And we will get into it. But what's really fascinating about it is I found out a bit more about your story, and your story actually, I feel like it resonates a lot with my story, and it's something that we talk about on the podcast anyway. So I think rather than just talking about the Unity for Great Britain stuff, which was obviously important to talk about, I think we just got to go back and give us just, from the get-go where you're from and a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up on a council estate in South East London, single-parent family. And I've never really told anyone this, so this is, I suppose it's a bit refreshing for myself, but I had a lot of therapy over the years, so now I can talk about it. So I was born with a disease called cystic fibrosis. And I got treated in Sydenham Children's Hospital for 12 years, something like that. Every month, torturous treatments. I never had a chip, a sweet, a crisp, any fatty foods, no nothing. Everyone was eating McDonald's, and McDonald's come out in 76. Everyone was loving it. I never had a McDonald's till I was 12. And then at 12, they said to me, "Oh, we made a mistake. There's nothing wrong with you. Off you go." And that was the path to decline. Yeah, and that actually happened. Yeah, that's a factual.
Wow, so you went through this torture of not being a kid, really, to just saying it's a mistake.
Yeah.
What, NHS? Is that the age?
NHS, yeah. Yeah, they told me, they kept telling me, "Mum, don't expect to live past 18, because in them days there was no treatment for cystic fibrosis. There's a magical treatment out now and people are living longer, but when I was younger, I watched kids die in front of me. So it started out 12 kids in the room. We used to go in a sweat room and call what we called a sweat room. I used to call it a torture room. So you'd sit there to turn the eating up. That's how you got tested, to sweat you out for 8 hours. Then they prick your finger and say, "Oh, your disease is progressing, you'll be dead soon." And that happened every month for years. And then at 12, they sat me down. They had no explanation. Just like, "Oh, we made a mistake."
They probably knew they made the mistake years before, didn't know how to break it. Yeah.
I wish they did, because, I was, so everyone had milk. Do you remember milk? You'd get a bottle of milk. I mean, I'm a bit older than you, mate, but you'd get a bottle of milk given to you by the government every morning. I never had a bottle of milk because I weren't allowed it. I used to have a bottle of God knows what. I'd drink it, and that's why I can't stand milk.
Well, yeah. Did you not even bother with milk after?
No, I still don't. No, that's why I got these teeth, to be honest. People take the milk, they go, "Oh, you got turkey teeth." They don't really understand why. My teeth were ruined because milk is a calcium that you need for teeth to progress. So my teeth were quite yellow and quite damaged. So in the end, when I had the money, I got these ones.
Yeah, I think they look fresh, mate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, mate.
I get a turkey teeth bit, but I just love
Well, you are well groomed, didn't you? Like, to be fair, like.
Do you know what, mate? It costs a lot of money to look this good, to be fair.
And how old are you?
I'm 50 in a year. Yeah.
Don't look 50, 49.
In the gym every year. I'm in the gym every day.
Yeah.
Down the gym, eat healthy. Don't take drugs anymore. Don't drink anymore. Just change my life around, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think this is where we're going to be kind of going to. So that set you up to decline, you said.
Yeah, so obviously, sorry to interrupt. Obviously, if you're told you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die. When they tell you you're not going to die, off you go.
It's like a second crack at the whip.
Yeah, I just went mad. I feel like, I used to hold it against my mother. I say, "Oh, you're fucking horrible to me." Excuse the language. You're horrible to me. You're horrible. And my nan used to say it. But to be fair, she was told her kid was going to die. So I don't suppose she got that close to a kid that's going to die. And then at 12, mate, I was out in nightclubs selling ecstasy by 13.
Wow.
I was little, so he's put me under the coat, going to Deptford, South East London, renowned place called the Albany, and I'd be shutting out pills and making a fortune. I had a car at 14.
What part of South East London was you from?
So I'm from Woolwich. So I went to school in Lewisham. I hung out in Deptford with, they were, what, some people go, I was taken in by a family that participated in the drug world. And they really cared for me, to be honest. I even named my son after one of the lads that died, Jack Shepherd. I don't mind mentioning him. And they took me in when I didn't have anybody. I was literally sleeping rough, and I was young. And my mum, she couldn't handle me, mate. I was
feral.
Yeah, I was feral. Yeah, street kid. She said, and that was it. I was on the streets, and that's where I stayed until about 22.
Wow. And you would kind of that was your area then, was it? South East London.
So Greenwich, Cholton, Woolwich, Lewisham, Peckham.
My mum grew up in Catford.
Yeah,
she's got the accent.
I was a bar lost in Catford many years ago. Yeah. So all that area.
Yeah, mad place. Especially
crazy place.
80s, yeah?
In fact, crazy, dangerous place.
Yeah?
Dangerous place.
You paint a picture what it was like growing up in the 80s.
So I'll paint a picture for you. Stephen Lawrence. That's a name that everyone knows. So Stephen Lawrence lived a couple of doors away from me. And I lived, Woolwich Common, brother called Stuart. We all went to school. We all grew up together. But as we got older, now I'll quite freely admit that I grew up in an environment back then when there was a division. There was division between whites and blacks, and that's how it was. And everyone, I remember telling this story on TikTok where I took a lad to my nan's door, a black lad called David. And when he got to the door, I asked for a glass of water, and my nan said, "Well, he can't come in." I said, "Why?" She said, "He's black." And I didn't know what to say, so I got off, he's my pals. I said, "Fuck it, I ain't getting no water off of you then, am I?" But that was my own family, and that was it. And it wasn't until the Stephen Lawrence thing really happened. I knew the kids, Jamie Acorn and the likes of them. I played football with them at Kidbrooke, and I knew Stephen. And that was the turn for me to think, hold up, this is wrong. Do you know what I mean? You can't go killing people because they're black. Or, I didn't want a part of it. And I just started to recognise that the education that I'd had growing up was a little bit far right. It was a little bit wrong. And I just started to integrate with everybody. And there was a few riots at the time. The NF used to have their headquarters in Welling. My mum moved us out of the council estate to Welling to try and better our lives. And it just followed, and that was the time I thought, I don't really want to be part of these people that are running around killing people for the colour of their skin, because that's not what I'm about,
Why? And it was that serious, and it was
mate. I've been stabbed. I've had bottles over my head for being white, and this is what makes me laugh. It's they say, "Oh, you don't know what racism is. You're white." Well, I do, because I got chased down the road from school by 30 black kids who wanted to stab the shit out of me. And, I got smashed over the head with a bottle and stabbed. And, that happened, yeah. And that was because I was white,
Wow.
So I understood then how they felt walking into white areas, and I just started to change.
And what was like the white areas then? Was there?
Yeah, there was areas. So you'd have, at that time, Peckham was a predominantly black, Lewisham was predominantly black, and then you'd go Cholton, predominantly white, Woolwich, predominantly white. But then we started mixing, because obviously girls started integrating with black lads, and there started being mixed race kids. And one of my best pals, John Daly, he was a mixed race lad. So where did he go? His mum was black, his dad was white. So I just thought, this is just wrong, and I started to come away from it. But yeah, there was places you couldn't go if you were white, and there was places you couldn't go if you were black, and that was the case.
Wow, fascinating. And you, like you said, you was selling pills and doing whatever. Was you using drugs at all yourself?
I started using ecstasy at 13.
Wow.
13, yeah. And I remember it being the best time of my life, to be honest. And you look back and you think it was the best time of my life, but clearly those were the start to a path to a downward spiral, really.
With drug use?
Yeah, drug use, lying, stealing, thieving, fighting. It's just all involved in it, let's be fair.
And you're quite a successful person now, which we will get on to. What was you doing around those times? Like
robbing drug dealers, robbing grows, burgling houses, not in my local area because we had fuck all, but you'd travel out, there was a place called Tandy's, and I'll never forget this. We used to steal cars, get 13 handed in 3 different cars, go to a place like this one place in Kent, I won't name it, no charges brought, but one place in Kent, and we just run in there during the broad daylight and grab Sony view cams. Broad daylight.
Smash and grab.
Straight over the counter. Just hearing people scream straight over the counter, smash, grab, gone. And I laugh because it's quite funny actually. And the rule was you kept what you got. That was the rule. When I remember my mate, he grabbed a keyboard, and I grabbed 2 cameras because I went over the counter. And when we got back, I had 2 Sony, the very first video cameras. They're called Sony view cameras, they were called. They were very first cameras. I had 2 of them. He's like, you got to give me one. And I said, no way, mate. You get what you grab. And I looked at him and he just had a keyboard in his hand.
Back then in the 90s as well, like if you got a computer and a keyboard from F1 to F13, it was worth, but he only had the keyboard, did he?
He only had the keyboard. He only had a keyboard. We'd done that years ago. That was Apple Macintosh chips. Yeah, we used to do that. You'd go into schools, and I got an interesting story. I got nicked uncharged, so I can talk about this. Back in the day, believe it or not, when they made double glazing, they put the seal on the outside. So you could just peel off the seal, take out the glass, go in. So this one day, I nicked an RS XR3i turbo. Yeah, that's cool. I nicked one of them. I took off down the local industrial estate. I burgled it was actually a DSS place, like the Department of Social Security. Got in there. And I got this stack, and I went home with it. And like your wood there, we had tunnel groove in the house. So my mum's on holiday. I get back, I get followed. The old Bill boot my door in, but I've just got it upstairs into the attic. So they searched the house. They said, we got you, we got you. I said, got fuck all. You got nothing. Unless you got something, you got nothing. They went, yeah, we have. Yeah, we've got you. And as we're walking out the door, the tunnel groove had, like a hatch. And he just looked up like that. And he seen the hatch. So I got nicked. I spent 18 hours in the police station. But what made me laugh, mate, is they gave me a charge sheet. And on the charge sheet in 1989, it said £11,000 worth of computer equipment. So I got nicked. I got out and I seen the charge sheet. So I went back and nicked it the next day.
Brilliant.
And they come and they kicked my door in again, but this time I managed to sell it to my uncle because he was from Catford and my uncle used to buy everything off me, and they come back and they went, you're so cheeky, you're cheeky you are. I said, mate, I don't know what you're talking about. But without that charge sheet telling me what it was worth in 1989, I'd never have gone back.
Yeah.
But that's a true story. That's
funny as fuck. It's and yeah, going back to the kept what you got. I've been on many. I used to like going raising on my own. Obviously, when you're younger, it's probably different, innit? But you get to an age then where it works, and you know what works, and you can't have certain people with you, or you can have a certain driver. But there was times I would go out with someone, and they wanted to come with me because they knew I'd make dough, and you'd be like, "Listen, mate, if you're not putting your fucking weight, like,
you're not getting it." Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was many times that, they probably steal £200-300 worth and I've got £2,000-3,000 worth, but they wanted a split. And I have split it sometimes, but I do like that rule of you kept what you got.
Kept what you got, mate.
That would have been the one. I wish I knew that, Yeah.
You always get them hanger backs who are just like, they're not really into it. They probably come from quite a good background, don't they? They've probably got nice parents. Like, my mum was poor.
Well, I had nice parents.
Yeah, so-
but yeah, I know what you're saying.
We were really poor, mate. You know, I remember times when my mum didn't eat.
It was survival.
Yeah, I remember my mum, we had a dinner called chucking. Yeah, exactly. It was whatever you had in the cupboard, you chucked in.
Chucking.
Always on a Friday.
Wow. Yeah. That's mad.
If she watches this, she'll laugh. That's true.
She remembers you chucking.
Chucking, mate. And it was just potatoes and, remember oxtail soup?
Yeah.
There was no oxtail in that, mate. It looked like a betting meat. That
It's not oxtail.
There's no oxtail.
Yeah.
I don't know how many oxes there are in the world, but they ain't got no tails, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's fucking hilarious, mate. Yeah. So, you smashing and grabbing. But you actually went down the route of drug addiction as well, didn't you? Like, pretty bad.
I only stopped drug addiction completely 6 months ago. Completely. The cocaine I stopped many years ago because I had a bad experience. The ecstasy I stopped. I had a bad experience. But the weed, which we call the new crack, where we're from, it's very addictive.
It's relentless, isn't it?
It's relentless, mate. You suffer. I've been diagnosed with split personality now because of the weed, I believe. It might have been the crack, but I believe it was the weed.
Yeah, well, weed for me was what I think led me to other things. I used to get proper paranoid. It got to a stage where I abused it so much that I get really fucking paranoid smoking it. But I always wanted to look for something else then to kind of substitute that. And I'm actually speaking to a girl who's on that prescribing illegal cannabis stuff now. And they're prescribing it in big numbers for people who have abused weed. Because, you know, when I remember when bud first came about, you'd have like your blue cheese, K2, Northern Lights or whatever, you know. But now, I genuinely think that the weed out there now, this chemically packed weed, it makes people rattle. It gives them withdrawals, I truly believe, and it fucks with your brain as well.
Well, I can tell you now that 6 months ago, mate, I was rattling. But lucky enough, I got the strength to, and that's only through NA, to be honest with you, I went on holiday and I kept trying, mate. I kept trying to go on holiday, sweat it out. It took me 3 times in 3 years. I've done 2 years clean, then back to it when a bit of pressure hit, split from a girlfriend. Then, yeah, it's your go-to, isn't it? Don't drink. I've never drunk. Weed and drink. It's not something weed heads do. They don't drink.
Yeah.
You know? And I've finally, I've had hypnotherapy now for 10 sessions, last so many months, and I'm finally can say, like,
yeah, congratulations.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, I can finally say I won't smoke it. But like you say, I didn't start on weed, mate. I started on crack. So I used to go robbing with a lad called Russell, and I think he's dead now, to be honest. And he was an older lad, and I looked up to him. You know, we did. Looked up to him.
Yeah.
I used to nick a car in the morning. I was 14. I'd nick a car in the morning.
For you and Intergraph?
Me and him. No. So they remember the alloys, the pepper pots, the wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, you're younger than me, but they were worth money. So we used to nick a car from South East London, drive it under the Blackwall Tunnel, over to Hackney, which we call Crackney, but it's changed now. Yeah, it's just posh now, but it's...
gentrified.
Yeah, maybe we call it Crackney, it's still Crackney. Drive it over there, take it off at the garage, take the wheels off, they'll put a shitty pair on. I've done this every day for about a year. They'll put a shitty pair on, we'd sell them the pepper pots, we'd go round the corner into the Red Bricks, buy the betting shop, and buy crack. Smoke it, and I got a score off my nut.
Fuck off.
I'm telling you, off my nut.
When you was betting crack early on.
Smoking crack at 7:30 in the morning. I'd go there and then go to school.
Fuck
off my nut. My mum never had a clue. She wondered why I was off my head. Never had a clue.
Fuck you.
14, 14, 15, yeah.
How do you think that affected you?
It was great fun at the time, but it's later on in it. See, when you get your own kids, and I'll be honest now, my kid, he's got a weed addiction, my lad, and I blame myself for that, to be honest. And we're not talking at the minute because he is going through that. He's completely changed.
With crack or weed?
No, weed, yeah. But like I say, when I go in there and they go, you started on crack, it's usually the other way. And
yeah, people are shot.
But what happened to me while I stopped smoking crack was I see this lad. So he met a girl called Lindsay from Barnfield in South East London, a renowned place. And I used to love her, yeah, she was so beautiful, this girl. But she wouldn't see me because I was only young. She went out with Russell. He turned her into a brass mate smoking the crack. I think she's dead now.
Ruined
her, and I watched that, and I run off from it. I run away from him, you know.
Because you knew Russell was doing the same to you, really, you know.
Well, really, yeah, really, yeah.
Fucking hell, mate. But did weed come into play at all during that crack smoke? Did you ever smoke it to come down?
So they didn't have weed then. They had Rocky, Gold Seal, Black, Red Seal, pollen, and it wasn't
strong.
No, we smoked it all the time. You know, you'd go out on a pill session.
Just like having a fag.
It wasn't, but yeah, you're right. It led from that, and then they introduced the weed in the 90s. Mate, before I know it, I'm smoking 1.5 ounces a week, 2 ounces a week. Yeah, the last time I've just give up 6 months, I was smoking £400 a week.
It's a lot of fucking weed, mate.
But when you can afford it, it gets more and more. I'd get weed, mate, honestly. I'd get weed. Only recently, only 6 months ago, I'd smoke a bit of it out the bag. Top bag, that's not good enough. You got anything else? That's crap. And it just got stupid. Luckily enough, I met a good woman and said, like, you need to stop this. Like, so
yeah, so you know,
yeah.
And it seems like you've always kind of used some sort of substance.
Yeah.
Do you have a vice now? Do you have something that's like outgoing from that?
So I'm lucky once again. My missus is Polish, and she has a good friend. I call her Agnes. I don't even know how to say her last name. And she is a hypnotherapist drug counsellor. And I don't even think about it now.
It worked?
Yeah, it worked. Finally. Yeah, it worked, yeah. It worked, yeah. I don't even think about it now.
Do you know, that's mad, because right, I'm not even joking, mate. Maybe it's a thing in Poland, but there's a Polish, when I was viewing another studio, the neighbour was Polish and she was a hypnotherapist.
Mate, I swear down, she puts you half asleep. You're awake, but you're half asleep. But I kept going, because I'm getting married in May, and the one thing my new wife won't tolerate, she's got a little girl, and I don't want to happen to her little girl what's happened to my son, that he sees that it's normal, that every day, because, you know, everyone thinks it's normal, and it's not normal, is it? It's not normal to smoke drugs around. Now, I didn't smoke it around her kid because of her views, but she could smell it.
Mm. Well, do you know what seems like the biggest farce, the biggest scam to me that frustrates me? Now, a lot of people say alcohol's a gateway drug. It's the gateway drug to cocaine and then whatever else. And some others would say weed is a gateway drug. And, you know, to me, weed was. I'm not saying it is but isn't it funny that the two gateway drugs that we talk about are the ones that are accepted in society? As if, like, start on that because it's okay, and we're going to take you on a fucking ride to ruin yourself.
Well, you think you're going to Tesco's, and I always think of it like this. I've never really drunk more drugs, but I know alcoholics. I go to NA, and there's everyone in there. And you think about it like this. You go into Tesco's, and you start at the first aisle, and the first you get to the Fosters. There's some Fosters there. It's £5 a crate, lovely. But as you go further into Tesco's, and any other brand, you know, like Asda, Argos, whoever, a drug dealer's like that, isn't he? You go in there and you start at a can, a beer or a joint. But a drug dealer don't just sell weed because there's not enough profit in it. And neither the Tesco's just sell Fosters. Then you get to the whiskey.
It's like the coat, innit? It's like the coat, innit? Look what I got.
Yeah, so it's a gateway in all aspects, and let's be fair. And the worst thing for me is I'm watching now, and they're legalising weed all around the world. That's only for taxation, because weed has been found to ruin my life. Like it ruins my life, and there's no doubt about it. It puts me in a paranoid state, so much so that I stabbed someone in the eyeball because I thought they were laughing at me, and I went to jail, and that wasn't very long ago. You know, so, you know, okay. and that was in a meeting over some money that someone owed me, and he smiled.
But yeah, you know, and it could have just been a smile of anything. But
I took it as a smile, like my brother used to smile behind my mum's back, like, you've been caught again, and he'd grass me up. Yeah, he's old Bill, my brother, believe it or not. Yeah, he's old Bill. Yeah, we're not best of friends.
Well, fair play to him for going, you know, obviously taking the right route in life, you know.
He took the wrong route first.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't mention too much, but he took the same route as me first.
Well, I think that's probably the best police officer you could get in it.
He ran away in the army. So he went to the army, he ran away.
Fucking hell.
I went to try and get in the army. I got nicked for burglary 3 months before I was supposed to go to the Marines. So it was like that.
Fucking as you do, like, you know what I mean? As you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right though about the weed and shit. And so if you had the option and you wouldn't want to legalize weed,
I don't think they should legalise any of it.
for the benefits of the health benefits.
THC is through the roof in it now. It's like 99%.
No, but if it was legalized in a way where, not in coffee shops or like where I got this, I mean like prescribed without the THC, more of the fucking, I don't know.
So why did I smoke weed? And I smoked it because I thought it made me better, because I was already off my head from what happened to me as a child. And I thought, when I smoked weed, and it did at the start, like all drugs at the start, they work for their reasons. But the more addiction you get, like some people start on painkillers, end up heroin addicts. The more addiction you get, the deeper you get in, the deeper you get, and you can't get out. And if it's used for medical purposes, maybe, yeah. You know, certain opiates are used for medical purposes, aren't they? But I've seen people take codeine and become addicted to codeine, and before you know it, they can't get no more prescriptions.
They're going on the back and
they're on the back
bubble.
door. Yeah, they're on the gear.
Yeah.
And I've seen some good people die. So
yeah, no, there's definitely risk with everything, innit? I think one of the ways probably they're thinking about legalizing stuff like that is probably to take away the organised crime element.
I disagree. It's taxation. It's just pure taxation. It's an industry what they don't get taxed on that's worth billions. So if they take that away from the everyday man that's doing it without paying tax, and they can bring in, look at America now.
Yeah.
It's worth billions. So what have they really done it for? I don't think they've done it for the benefit of humanity. I think they've done it because they realised that they were losing out on mass taxation that they could gain.
Well, I would say then, you know, there's two negative outcomes there. There's the government fucking taxing us and making off us, and secondly, you're fucking your head up as well. So I think the best option to say to people who are out there burning weed is to try and fucking knock it on the head, isn't it?
I'm 48, 49, so I'm nearly 50, and I look back at it. One, I've spent millions, and I have spent millions because I've had millions. Two, I've ruined lives. I've had 2 wives. I've split up from both of them because I'm in nutty head. I hold my own responsibility for that. They had their part, but I definitely had my part. I've ruined my kids' lives, which I've said sorry to them, to their faces, because they still now smoke weed, and I can't get them off it because they won't listen to me, because obviously they're like, Dad, you smoked it 30 years. And I've always been lucky, mate, you know, that I was able to work, I was able to earn a living, I was able to have the nice things in life. I never went to the bus stop sleeping, but I know people that have, and you know, so no, I just can't see any positive in drugs at all anymore. You know, I sit in NA meetings and see people there crying their eyes out, and I probably was one of them at one time, you know, and I just can't.
With the work, when did you? Was that only recently that you became successful legitly, or was that?
So I would blame the drugs as well on ruining. I could have been a millionaire 10 times over. I have factually started companies with people, labour companies, because I've got high IQ, there you are. HQ, bloody hell. I've got high IQ.
Half a Q,
yeah. And what could I have been if I didn't do that? What? You know, I'd run away from drug tests on the railway site. I'd leave a job because there was a drug test coming. I would run companies and then stab people in the eye and go to jail.
Yeah,
you know, and that's a fact that happened. I went to jail for it, you know, and finally I started battling my drug addiction about 7 years ago. It's taken me 7 years to finally get clear.
And so basically, it's only now that you are clean off the weed, that you can actually fulfill your full potential with your professional.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Career.
How'd you go into a meeting? And I used to. I'd go into a meeting with a managing director, and if he didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, I'd call him all sorts of names. You know, not understanding that you can't really talk to people like that. I didn't care. You know, I thought I can do what I want. You know, I can treat people how I want, and I didn't care. But now, I never had any empathy, man. You probably associate with that. When you're high in addiction, you haven't got empathy. You haven't got feelings. It's just like you're just floating on. You're just getting through life, surviving, earning your money, and you don't really care about other people's feelings. But now I do, yeah. But as you know, with if you're an addict, I'm an addict for clothes. I'm an addict for cars. I was an addict for women, addict for watches. You know, you're an addict for everything. And since I got clean up and had to save some money, and I could never really save, you know, I'd go into flannels and it'd be like Christmas. My missus said, Steve, because she's been with me through addiction now and clean twice now, and she stood by me. She said, I can just see the change in your eyes when you go into a shop and you see all the clothes there. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And I would literally spend...
You the type of guy to buy them trainers, that jacket, that jeans. I'll buy the Gucci bag to put them all in as well.
Yeah, but it gets worse, like drug addiction. Then it's watches. And the more money you get, then it's cars. I've had...
Well, we were just out there then, and he was telling me about that car. What you think of that car there?
Yeah.
Is he selling it?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. You still, I wouldn't buy it. I could, but I wouldn't buy it. But like my missus will tell you, she really will. In the last 12 months with her, I've gone through 2 RSs, 1 Porsche, 1 Mercedes, 2 BMs. We're talking in 18 months.
What do you think it is you're filling? What do you think it is you're chasing?
So, look, it's hard to admit, isn't it? But they say, and since the therapy, they say that everybody has a traumatic experience in their life that changes them. And unfortunately for me, mine happened at 12 and I never dealt with it. And I carried it then until early 40s. So I believe that if you don't deal with that traumatic experience and you don't get therapy, and I'm a great advocate for therapy, mate, I really am. You know, I was a man that said, oh, no, not me, mate, I'm a man. And I did that for years. Not my fault, your fault. I'm not to blame, you're to blame. But I truly believe that, you know, everybody has that turning point in their life where you go left or you go right. And some people are lucky that they go left. And some people are unlucky like me, they go right. And until you deal with, like I treated women terribly, mate. Because of the no relationship with my mum, I saw women as a commodity. You know, I see them as
Object.
Yeah, trophy wife. Yeah. And how I'd get away with it is I'd just buy them whatever they wanted as long as they shut up. And I carried on doing that, and I've done that with my 2 wives. And, you know, I'm now on the 3rd.
I'm lucky.
Well, they say that, yeah.
Do you think, as well, with therapy and that as well, do you think, okay, you might have gone and got your therapy in your late 40s, but do you think the longer you keep it, you might go through therapy, but things will still be there because it's been so long of building and you probably created more traumas along the way? Do you think it's best to nip things in the bud sooner rather than later? Would you have rather have nipped it in the bud a long time ago?
I wish I'd have had it at 12. It weren't available. Imagine the life I could have had. You know, I have built up companies. There's a lady out there now, I can't say too much on the radio, but she's a multi-millionaire on the telly because of the back of me. Because I built her company up, and I'm good at what I do. I'm good with people. I treat everybody the same, whether you're a managing director or you're a smacking on the street. I still talk to you, mate. I still talk to the man in the bus stop. I still, for some reason, will stop and give him a coat out the back of my car because I know what it's like to sleep in a JCB for 3 weeks because you've got nowhere to sleep. And I also know what it's like to sit in a 6-star hotel in Dubai. So,
but what you would say that the other side of you, the nasty side, let's say due to drugs, kind of knocked those on the heads, is it? Like the fact that, you know, you parted ways with that person, or
no, you're right.
You've gone offside.
You're right, because the day I went to the school because my daughter's getting bullied, or my stepdaughter's getting bullied, and then I switch.
Right.
So you'll always have that. You're right. I think you're right. To be honest, I never thought of it till you asked that question. I don't think it'll ever go because I left it too late. But mate, if you can go to rehab, if you can go to NA, if you can go to CA, do it as early
Control it,
early as possible. The earlier the better. Yeah. I never really thought about it, mate, till you just said that. I think you're right. I think my aggression will always be there. It's just controlling it. I'm not a big man, so my aggression reacts with weapons or with things that I can grab hold of, you know, because if someone's 8 foot tall, what can I do? I can take his eye out with a dinner fork and he won't see me. And yeah.
How many
thought that?
How many times have you been in prison?
Oh, mate. Sentences 8, remands, God knows. Remands, God knows.
So you got away with a lot, and it did.
Yeah.
If you walked off, I'm like,
do you want to hear a funny story? I'll tell you a funny story with Russell. We were out and we used to go out, and I'm not proud of this. It's the one thing I'm not proud of is dwelling burglaries, house burglaries.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not proud of it, and it's something I did do. And we used to go out into an area that we would call the rich area. And I remember going out one day, and we were going out to drum the yard, and he's got in the window, and I'm watching. And I'm stood by a stolen car, and the old bill come boom, nicked me. I got remanded. It turned out Russell weren't just smoking crack; he was on heroin, and he couldn't do his cluck, and obviously sung like a canary
to the face. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I weren't on heroin. They asked me, "Do I need any methadone?" I didn't even know what methadone was. I was 15. I said, "What do you mean methadone?" And that's the first time I got remanded. I was 17. The first time I got remanded. 16 or 17, something like that. I can't remember. I'm quite old. Anyway, I get remanded, go to the jail, come to the trial, and they nicked me with a scaffold pole, a Stanley knife, and a screwdriver. and I'm there like, because that's what I used to nick the Astra. That's not what I used to burgle the house. I didn't get in the house. I nicked the car. He burgled the house. And I can talk about this because this is a true story. So my brother comes to the court, and he's sitting there. It's about the time he's thinking about going in the police. You know what I mean? He's watching the court case. And I'm there, and I knew all along what I was going to do. And I went not guilty to the burglary because I wasn't guilty. He went guilty because he grassed himself up. But I said I weren't burgling anything. I just nicked the car. So the judge in the Crown Court in Bexley Heath asked me why I had the tools, and asked me, could I explain how I used the tools to nick the car? So I said, yeah, no problem. So I stand up, they give me the evidence, I cut the evidence bags open, which I'd never seen before in a Crown Court. They give me the scaffold pole, so I explained to him. I cut the window out the back with the Stanley. I used a scaffold bar to break the steering lock, and then I used a screwdriver to turn the barrel. And that's how I nicked the car. And he went, oh, amazing. This is Judge, amazing, he said. I said, yeah, it is amazing because I didn't do the burglary. And you can just see the Crown prosecution just talking to each other. And the judge said, well, Mr. Eldridge, thanks for your honesty. He said, we're going to drop the burglary and you're going to be recharged with going equipped to steal a car. And I walked out the court and I was looking at about a 5-year, like, for the burglary.
Well, they obviously thought, fucking, if he's so honest about this, like, why would he lie about that?
Yeah. And I walked out the court and I'll never forget it. You just see the detective place. And all I remember is walking out the court and the old Bill grabbing me like, I can't even swear yet, but he said, you little fucker. He said, if you would have told us that, we wouldn't have charged you for the burglary. I said, but I wouldn't be walking out now, would I? See you later.
That was fucking brilliant.
So, yeah. There's a story for you.
And so you'd always go to a London jail then to start off, or?
Well, no, I'd done a tour because I had a warrant in London, and my family moved from Catford. A big part of my family were from Catford, and they moved to Barnsley.
Fucking hell, up north?
Yeah, up north, yeah.
Okay.
And they went up there, and I had a nan up there, and I got out of there then, but I knew I had other charges coming, so I took off for 2 years and went to Barnsley. But I couldn't help myself. I was still grafting. And I remember
making a noise and
mate, it was brilliant.
and you stand up like a sore thumb then.
It was brilliant because I was the only Cockney up there and the women
Loved
me.
it, yeah.
Oh, but I was fighting every day. You're up here to nick our women every day or fight. They can fight them boys up in Yorkshire, I tell you now. They'll fight you for a bird. Like,
Oh, do you know what? I was exactly the same when I went. I think it's for anyone who goes. Like when I went to my nan's up in Northamptonshire to Corby and Kettering, it was the same thing. Like little Welsh boy, like, it's just mad, like, innit? Like
something different.
Something different for them, innit? Yeah,
something different. Yeah.
Being Wales's biggest podcast means only one thing. We need to be sponsored by Wales's biggest clothing brand, Weekend Offender. They've been in the game for well over a decade now, and they still hold weight within the casual scene. If you want a deal on the hottest seasonal drops, then hit the discount code below at Stay Central.
So yeah, so you what was the worst time in jail? Would you say? What, was it a sentence you thought never again?
No, I'll tell you the worst time. I'll tell you exactly the worst time because I still have flashbacks to this day. But it didn't stop me. When I first went to jail, I went to Feltham, and Feltham was a rough nick. You've seen the film Scum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like
Ravenston.
yeah, just like that. I went to that jail. I live around the corner now. When I passed there, walking with dog, gives me flashbacks. And I was young, little white kid, big black kids. And black lads are always massive, aren't they? I do get jealous, to be honest. Sometimes I think, fuck, I wish I was black. Because they always look good. They've always got good physiques. They're always big lads, And my mate's the same. He's massive. He don't do anything to be massive. He's just naturally massive.
Genetics.
Yeah. So I'm in there. And they put me in a dorm. And it was in Osprey. And they put me in a dorm. And being young, and here's a tip for you people, never lie about your sentences. And I learned this very fast. And I'm in there and they're like, what you in for? And I boosted up my sentence.
Yeah.
I boosted up what I was in there for. Problem with that is they then think you're a sex offender.
Yeah, because you're lying about it.
I didn't know that. For 8 hours, I had to fight every one of them, every 10 minutes. For 8 hours in a dorm, I got battered. They cut me down my back, stabbed me in the foot. My eyes were closed. My nose has been replastered. And I learnt one thing then. Never lie. Never make out to be something that you're not. They taught me early. But they battered me for 8 hours. Yeah. When I come out the cell, I wouldn't ring the bell. Obviously, I'm not grass and I'm not a nonce. Lucky enough, I came out the cell and I fell down the stairs. Both of my eyes were closed. I couldn't see the stairs. I fell all the way down the stairs and screws got me. I spent 2.5 weeks in the hospital. But lucky enough, I'm not a sex offender. I'm not grass. So they were dealt with individually, one by one, by some lads in the jail. But yeah, they battered me for 8 hours. And I was the only white kid in there.
In a cell?
In a dorm. 5-man dorm. So 4 of them. So I'd be fighting one of them. I'd be winning. Then the other one will smash me from behind. Then say, right, you're fighting him. That went on for 8 hours, mate. Till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh, all night?
All night. I got battered. And that was for trying to be a big man. And I'm clearly not a big man. I'm just a normal lad who was trying to get by in life,
Mate, I couldn't think of anything worse, mate.
I still have flashbacks about it sometimes. Yeah, still sometimes I think about it. But I weren't a sex offender, mate.
You weren't going to ring the bell, was you?
I'm not going to ring the fucking bell, am I? I won't be able to go anywhere in the jail. I come back on that wing with my chest out, mate. Because I didn't grass anyone up. I had the police there. They wanted to nick them for attempt murder. I wouldn't make a statement. But they all got dealt with one by one. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not me.
And what did never come across them since then?
One of them got kettled, another one got acided, the other one got striped, and one got stabbed 6 times. But it weren't me.
Wow. Fucking hell, Steve. And you never learned your lesson. You went, you know.
I didn't have a choice, did I? I was on the street. Like, you know, I always say this here. I never stole anything because I thought it was clever. I stole it for food, mate. Stole it for clothes. Stole it for rent. I didn't do it because I had things and I was just a thief. By nature, I'm not dishonest by nature. By nature, I'm quite honest, as you can probably tell. But I didn't have a choice. Like, I knew from the age of 16 to 21, I never had a permanent address.
Fucking hell, mate.
What's going on, people? Really sorry to crash midway through this episode, but we've got an important announcement to make. As you know, from day one, we have been giving you exclusive content week in, week out. And we've even built 3 studios from scratch, which has been a bit of a graft, to be fair. Well, now we're asking for your help in return. We promise to give you exclusive content, behind the scenes footage, reaction videos, and documentaries if you really support us by signing up to our Patreon. The description is below. Stay central.
I mean, I've got stories after stories about, but it'd be here all night. You know, I've got stories after stories. I've got stories where screws have given me paperwork to say someone's a sex offender and I've gone and ironed him out in Bedford Nick. And he died.
What?
Yeah, he died, yeah. Yeah, it weren't me that killed him, but he died. Yeah. Fuck. Got stories where geezers, on my last sentence, I never knew what spice was. I watched a geezer fall down the stairs and have a heart attack in front of me in Bedford Nick. That was 2016. It's not even that long ago.
Yeah,
I was smoking hash in there.
Was you smoking? Did you try the spice?
I did a fuck.
Well, at the beginning, see, I felt like everyone was at it, like, because they didn't realise how bad it was.
Well, I knew how bad it was when I see the geezer go down the stairs and have a heart attack at the bottom of the stairs. I played football with him in the morning, okay. I didn't know what spice was. Straight away, I'm in there, I've got money. I'm upstairs to the big boys. I'm 40 years of age. They call me Pops. So I've gone from being the youngest kid in the jail to the oldest geezer on the wing through the whole period. And they called me Pops, mate, you know, in Bedford in 2016. And I got there and I didn't have a fucking clue it changed so much. And they're all on spice. They're all grey. They're all killing each other for spice. Didn't happen when I was younger. And this lad, I played football with him in the morning. And I had a servery job. And I said, all right, mate, in the servery. Nothing. I said, all right, mate. He's like, all right. Oh, and you all right? My mate went to leave him, Spice said. I said, all right. He's gone up in Bedford, Nick. It's got spiral stairs. It's one of the only Victorian jails left.
Really? Yeah.
It's got no windows in it. It's fucking freezing. Cockroaches everywhere. He's gone up the stairs like that. There's a screw in there called Miss King. And as he's got to the top, he's gone to grab the banisters and he's missed. He's grabbed her. She's pushed him. He's gone all the way down the stairs. Boom, dead.
And you just don't hear about it, do you?
No.
You don't.
No, who cares? They don't care. Just another spice attack. There's ambulances outside every jail.
Yeah, ambulance.
Yeah, ambulance. Yeah, there's one out every jail. Saves them the running to and from. They just sit outside the jail.
Yeah.
That's every jail. So yeah, it wasn't nice. It's different nowadays.
Yeah. Well, in terms of something that I think is amazing that you mentioned to me, maybe talk about how you started your business now and like the people you employ and what you do, because I think it's amazing.
So I'm lucky, right? All through my using, I managed to build a career on the railways, and I got banned a few times for drug use. But then I'd go in the office and I'd run the office because I know men. I'm good with men. I'm good with people. The one thing you learn as a kid on the streets in South London is how to deal with people. So I'm good at getting someone to do something they don't want to do, you know. And all I'd done then was move from selling drugs, and it sounds a bit harsh, but to selling people. You put them out for 15 quid an hour, you pay them 12 quid an hour, you make a profit. What's the difference? So I come out of jail the last time, and lucky enough, I won't mention him on here, but I got a friend who's got a large company in the railways. And I said to him, mate, I need help. I'm trying to get clean. And he said, all right. I said, I can find you staff. And you know that I can run the job because I'm a railway engineer by trade. I've got railway degree. I've got things that I've done. I've got a project manager, Prince 2, which is another funny story. I'm a Prince 2 project manager. So I'm clearly educated,
Yeah.
but I just kept getting in trouble. So I said to him, I need help, mate. And thank God, all right. He said, okay. And it's 2018. He says, I got a blockade at Christmas. He said, get me men for it. I'll give you £1 per hour.
So what's that? So you get him for
I get
15?
Yeah, I get him for 15.
14.
He gives me 16 and that's it. But Christmas is good period on the roads. But I was already around.
And you get loads of staff then on a big scale, yeah?
Yeah, so he had, I think the first job I'd done, they do it on hours. So it's like 20,000 working hours or 10,000 working hours. So you've made 10 grand. I bought this watch. That's the first watch I bought for myself from that job.
Wow.
Okay, so and I'll never sell it because that's
Sentimental.
the first thing I ever bought. And he said, get me some staff. And I went to Western-super-Mare. And that's where I met my first inroads into meeting people. So everything for a reason, huh? And I've always been good at, like, I'll pull up at a job centre and I'll talk to anyone because I was on the street. I used to talk to anyone for money, And I said to this lad, and his name's Tony Francis, he's a big boy in NA, and he's the one that helped me get where I am today. And I said to him, Tony, can you get me some men? He said, yeah. I said, all right. He said, I'm NA. I said, what the fuck's NA? He said, I'll explain later. He said, but I'll go to meetings and I'll get some lads. And they all work sole traders, so they're all legal, yeah. And I think I got like 26 men from Western-super-Mare for a blockade. And I'd been doing it beforehand, but nothing as big. This was my first big job. And I was doing it with a lad, my best pal, Nathan. We fell out for a little while and then had to start again. And this is when he said to me, there's a big chance for you. He said, I'm not going to pay you £1 an hour. He said, I'm going to give you £4 an hour. So I went, £4 an hour. And my head can do maths quick, I'm good at maths. I thought, I'm going to big money off this. And I went to Western-super-Mare and I got myself 20 odd men and I put them on a Christmas blockade and they all done 12 shifts and they all got bonus shifts. They all never worked before, these lads. Some of them,
So is this that they got to go through qualifications now? No, is it just labouring?
No, so it's just like if they got mate, that there's a lot of lads that got driving licenses but never owned a car because they're smackheads.
Yeah.
Or never owned a car because they're crackheads. But they still got driving licenses. And
there was loads of about rail cards. Yeah.
You didn't need rail cards.
Yeah.
And still to this day, my lads don't need rail cards. They only need driving licenses. They only need to be a cleaner. I mean, you just need to turn up. Yeah, that's it. You need to turn up and clean the cabin, open a gate, things like that. Things that are needed but not needed. You don't need an education.
So it's not on the tracks. It's on
just off the track.
I got you.
But me, I'm a track engineer. I've been an ES crane controller, stressing engineer, project manager. I've worked for Network Rail. I've worked for Carillion. I've worked for all the big boys. I can install track, every bolt of it from start to finish. We had a big job in Cardiff for years. For Balfour Beatties.
I'm sure you're like some of the boys, you'll probably watch this and they'll recognise you.
There's tons of Welsh lads that know me.
Yeah.
Tons of them. I'll tell you a funny story about some Welsh lads, aren't I? We got a funny story, mate. In Merthyr, they're big lads, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I started employing these lads, and I'm going to tell you now, the best people I've ever come across to work are people that don't get a chance. People that have never had an opportunity, people that people look at and see that they look like a smackhead. Oh, I'm not giving him a job, he's a smackhead.
He's going to rob me.
Mate,
you got another potential.
The worse you look, the more chance you got of getting a job with me. Because I know that they're going to turn up, they won't steal from you. There's a code in our world where you don't lie and you don't steal from people. You know that there's a code in our world. And they have turned out to be the best people. And I've now turned 2.4 million. In the last 3 years, and 3 years before that, COVID came, probably 2.5 million. So probably about 6 million I've turned in 6 years.
Wow.
No, I don't make a little profit, taxman. Yeah, but I've turned that, and I've gone from being an average every day. I've always done all right, but now I do better than all right. But with these people comes problems. Sometimes they're homeless. We help them. Sometimes they relapse. We help them. I mean, you can have 10 relapses. I don't care. Just come back to me clean.
Yeah.
You come back to me clean because I've relapsed.
Well, I've seen that with some people who try to offer jobs to people. Oh yeah, we're going to offer someone a job who's a drug addict, but as soon as this happens, you're out and never again. And you're like, well, You know they're probably gonna fuck up. Like,
See, I'll be an addict for the rest of my life. It's just about fighting my addictions and going to therapy and you have to keep doing it, don't you? The minute I don't go in and I haven't been for a while because I went to the hypnotherapy, but I will have to go back to it at some point. And you flick in and that, but you're never far away from it, are you? You're never far away from being back where you was. And if you keep that in your head, you never want to go back to it.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen pictures of you, Cal. Do you know what I mean? I've seen that you was a bang smackhead. Do you know, I'm not being rude.
flat out.
And look at you now. And you know you're only one bad choice away from being that guy again.
Mate, yeah.
Which we keep that in us. We don't do it, do we? We keep fighting.
Yeah.
And I don't care, mate. You can have 10 relapses. When you're clean again, ring me.
Mate, that's amazing. Like, it's a win-win, isn't it? You know, you're benefiting, they're benefiting, you're helping. You know, you will always get someone. It's like that thing with the, you know, when some people, I don't personally, but someone might have a social media platform and they might record themselves giving someone £10. Look, I'm giving, you know, it makes them look good, don't it? Yeah, but people would probably still say the same type of stuff with you. Well, you're benefiting off people, and you're like,
I don't do it for free, do I?
no, exactly.
You don't. There's a joke, mate. You know, and I hate them people that do that.
Yeah.
Videoing themselves. I've give thousands of pounds out to people on the street. I don't video.
I can see that.
You know, I stopped the other month, and there was a lad. Well, the other month, it was last year. Life goes so quick, doesn't it? There was a lad under a shelter. Now, we travel the country with a railway, so we're all over, Scotland to Wales. I've been all over. I've got friends everywhere. Colleague friends, yeah? You've got real friends, and then you've got colleague friends.
Yeah, of course.
And I seen a lad, and he was under an arch in a shopping centre. British lad. And it started to snow, mate. And the lad's coat had broke. And I said to him, like, you all right, mate? He said, snow's going to kill me. I said, mate, I feel for you. And I've never been there, so I can't say I know how you feel, can I?
But you can sympathise.
I can say to him, I know how you feel with your addictions. I can't say I know how you feel being out in the cold freezing, because, you know, I was lucky enough, like, that I use my mouth to stay at someone's house, or I'm clever with that. I've always been all right with that. Stayed in the JCB once for a few weeks, but, you know, it wasn't the same. So I went to my car and I took out all the clothes I had in the car and I gave them to him. You didn't see me record it. You know, Donald Trump does it all the time. You don't see him record it. Rich people, good people don't record that stuff, Cal. You just do it.
Yeah.
And
It's not a stunt.
No, you see, I think that's a scum of the earth move. I do.
It is, mate.
I think that's a scum of the earth move. The only thing I'd done recently, which I weren't too happy about, but I really wanted to do it, my daughter drew a picture with 2-tier Kia. Did you see them?
Oh, the t-shirts. Amazing.
Yeah, but people think that I've done that because you know how society is. They think that I've done that to make money.
But you're all right.
But I've got money.
But you're not going to pay for the merch and everything for fuck all. And, you know,
if you did that for life, you wouldn't.
You'd be nowhere.
You have nothing, would you?
So good lesson for your daughter to teach her how to make money in that anyway. And
well, to be honest, I think I sold about 30 T-shirts, got about 70 left in the cupboard, and I just did it because it was what she see, and that happened at Bristol away with Millwall. That happened because I got pulled by the old Bill when I'd started that TikTok at Bristol away, and an old Bill come to me and went, "You don't like no one, Steve, do you?" And I'd never met her in my life.
How the fuck did she know that?
On the camera. On the face. I didn't realise. Facial recognition.
So yeah.
She
watched someone who's watching the TikTok.
No, my daughter was with me. Her first away day. She's got her season ticket, my daughter. And her first away day, she's just old enough, 10 now, to come away. She loves it. And they came out of their way to come to me, and everyone see it, all the lads see it as well. And she went, I don't like to swear because it's on YouTube, but she said, "You don't effing like nobody." And I said, "No, it's just you I don't like." You know?
Wow.
So that's where she got the idea, 2-tier Kia.
Well, we got loads to talk about, but yeah, fair play to you, mate. That's fucking amazing what you do. I suppose, you know, people know where to look for you if they want work like that anyway.
I had a few messages on TikTok.
Yeah.
I had a few messages, and
Yeah.
I tell them to ring Tony, and Tony's NA, and if they've got issues. We've also sent people to rehabs. There's a lad called Daniel Mulcahy who lives in Western Superman. He's a super lad. I've been on holiday when the parents of an addict have asked me about my addictions and asked me, can I help them? And I've helped them. I've given them Daniel's number, and we've got that lad in the rehab.
Amazing. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's great what you're doing, mate. Honestly, fucking brilliant. Like, and you know, keep doing what you're doing with it, mate.
We're all the same.
Any jobs?
No. Listen, I don't want to say, look at it, you don't need it. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
there is, if ever you're stuck.
Yeah, well, I fucking know if I ever fall again, I'll be going to Tony and you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just mentioned about a football. So, you're a Millwall fan.
I am.
Season ticket holder. How long have you been going?
I've been going for years. Since I was 8, I first went to Millwall, the old ground. And when it was, I used to watch it from there because the pitch was, the stadium,
above you.
Yeah, it was above me. I'd watch Terry Erlock's boots. That'd be it. Les Briley and that. I know Les is a friend now, believe it or not. And Brian Horn and that. They're friends now, I sit with them where I sit, but I watched it from there. And then you get married, don't you? And then the wife don't let you go. And then you go back. And then, you go in and out of it, don't you, for years. But for the last 6 years, I've been every game. But this lad,
what
Diablo, is it?
Yeah.
Mate, he had I remember it like it was yesterday. He had like a copper coat on.
Yeah, that was my dad gave him that as a
He had a dad's coat on. If you're watching this, mate, you borrowed a coat, you tramp.
No, listen. So obviously, right, what happened was that he come back the second time, yeah, for the Millwall and whatever. So Tommy, Stephen, whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
he belled me up as well and was like, I'm in the UK if you want to catch up.
Yeah.
Because we done a podcast, it was the first time we done a podcast.
Yeah.
Then people like James English and they like reposted their old one and they did a part 2 with him.
Yeah.
So me and Tommy were speaking quite a bit at that time and he was like, I'm back in the UK. I said, oh, and at that time, Diablo was it.
there.
I was like, do you know what? I got some in you.
What's that interview? Was that you that done that?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched that. I did.
Yeah, that's why he was here.
Uh-huh.
So obviously I brought him, I was like, I got an idea, yeah. Tommy, do you want to meet this guy, Diablo? He thinks he's a football hooligan and he was part of Antifa, and Tommy being, hating the left and whatever.
I don't like Antifa, mate.
So Tommy was like, listen, tell that little sausage, because he knew who he was, because obviously the documentary he watched, tell that sausage to fuck off. I had a call then an hour later off Tommy.
I'll do it.
I'll be there.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. And then that's what happened, like, do you know what I mean? So, but when he came, Diablo, right, my dad had a Gucci jacket that he bought it as a present for me or my brother, because we're like the same dad.
Yeah.
It didn't fit any of us.
Yeah.
So when Diablo was in our studio, it was just there in the back. He went, you have that, mate. And he was like, yeah, thinking he was like a proper but I thought he wouldn't have worn it at the football.
No, he wore it. He wore it. That's how you couldn't miss him. And we were like, who's that? And then someone went, that's that Muppet from America. And yeah, it was.
I'm going to go on, carry on.
Mate, he was going, like, knowing he's about 70 yards away, protected by about 80 police. And I'm going to be honest to the Cardiff lads, they left him on his own. He ended up on his own, just doing all sorts. And I think he ended up getting evicted. I think they ended up kicking him out, mate. I think they ended up dragging him out.
I think they did.
I think they did. But I'm going to tell you now that he didn't have anyone around him, because I remember him like he wouldn't sit down. He wasn't watching the football. And all he was doing was and he kept doing this. And this is one thing that Millwall, what we ate, yeah? Every away ground we go to, they go like this.
What's that for the Hammers like?
Mate, Preston, Huddersfield, Leeds, no, I don't think Cardiff have done it, Sheffield United. They do the hammer sign. And to us, that is the biggest muggy thing to do. You're supporting a different team.
And you're representing the Hammers.
Representing West Ham, who would just as likely smash your head in as we would.
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Oh, mate, I need to find it. I got another one here, though, from the day the day he was there.
I watched that video. I didn't know it was you that done it. I watched because Stephen ends up jumping up, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm the one in the middle with the orange weekend defender jumper.
He ends up like Steve says to him, get
Look at him there with he got a Swansea. He's squeezing a Swansea fucking.
See, why would you do that?
Yeah, and then there he is at the game. I think that's the Wigan game he went to. You know, but he actually thought everyone's laughing at him, but he thinks like everyone wants to like.
Yeah. No, he'll not come back. He'll not come back. If
Oh,
we'd have caught him that day, he'd have been in trouble. He would have definitely, I would have definitely took a charge for that. Oh, mate.
Yeah, no, I remember because I was on the other side in the Canton stand. And like, I don't know if you could do it in Millwall, but like half time or whenever you can walk around, didn't he? Yeah? Right. So I went around and he was there doing, but I wasn't even speaking to him at the time because it was after the Tommy fight. He went in the mood with me because he thought I set him up with Tommy to fight. No, you was being mouthy.
No, but Tommy
got punched up.
Tommy didn't want to fight him. He told him, no, go. I watched the video.
Exactly. Everyone who watches it knows anyway, but he's tried to say, oh yeah, you set me up, and we're like, no.
But if you're a big man, and Tommy's not exactly Stephen, he's not the biggest of men.
He's small, like he said, he's small, he's taller than me. Diablo's taller.
He's not the biggest of man, like, so if you're such a gangster, you got a bit of a slap by, a little man like that.
Yeah, he was doing all that, weren't he? And all
that, mate, he kept going like this, and we're like...
That must have been an experience, though,
It went round the crowd. It went round the crowd. It went from me, because I'm the older lot, and then there's a younger lot, and then there's a younger lot.
How did it happen?
Can I swear? There's that cunt from America. What's he doing in Cardiff? And we couldn't understand it. How he's like, to be honest, I've been to Wales 3 times and I got nicked once. So it's not really like, we very rarely travel into another country. Very rarely, like Swansea away, Cardiff away. But like, how did he fucking end up? You know, I couldn't believe it.
That's because of the Central Club, unfortunately. We end up with some bizarre fucking things, but
I have watched a few,
yeah, Tommy and thing, man. That was well, it's almost on 1 million views, man.
I watched you actually say to him, I'll fucking slap you in a minute, mate. Like,
and he stands up and goes, "The zone boxing." That's what he says, because he was speaking to some guys in Plymouth, because that's where he got a connection with as well. That's where he bothered. The TCU,
there's that. When you're from a capital, like, you are, we are, yeah. When you're from a capital and someone says Plymouth, I just think Fat Rooney. Yeah.
No, I know. I suppose we are a different country, but I get it. I get what you're saying, mate, innit? Where's that? But he was with Plymouth, the Plymouth Central Element, the mob's called, innit? He actually had real mates there, like, and he's just bizarre.
I don't think that guy has any real mates, does he? Come on. I can't see anyone.
Well, Harrison, you've met him. What do you think?
He's a clown. Yeah, he's a clown. Yeah, so Walter Mitty was a liar when he was it. Yeah.
And he is like he used to be a wrestler years ago. Yeah.
What's that? Wrestling? Is that fake stuff where they jump around? I pretend to
WWE.
Putting balls on each other's heads and that, and like just some bad stuff.
Yeah. Then he was like a mixed martial artist. So I thought maybe he could have a go. Like,
he's definitely not that, because he got a dry slap off the ass.
Yeah. But he was hiding on the couch, holding my old man, the big fella. He's holding my old man.
Watch him, yeah.
Just like, yeah, I see how he moves.
Oh, mate, please.
And then, and Chief.
I actually didn't go, and start trying.
But he's a proper far left, like lefty, like. But I don't get how he.
I'm a Harris fan. Just Samuel Harris.
Yeah, he's Kamala. He's Antifa. He's a communist.
He's a muppet, isn't he? He's a muppet. He's what. 99% of Americans are not this way, are they? Like, I used to hate Americans. I used to think, they're all fucking nuts. But to see what they've done in the last few months has inspired me to think that they're not all what we see. Do you understand what I mean? Because the left are the media, aren't they? So the left get more. Like she spent she spent £1.3 billion on airtime.
And a lot of them only went to the shows because they thought Beyonce and how we're going to perform.
Paid her £10 million, didn't they? Paid her £10 million.
Well, I hate Beyonce. Well, I
she's
can't fault her.
To get nicked, isn't she? Like, let's be fair. I mean, I'm not sure about that, and it's only my opinion.
You think she's going to be brought up in it?
I think once you see the interview with Elon Musk with Carson Tucker.
No, go on.
So there's an interview gone out, and Carson Tucker don't care. He went to Russia. That man don't care. And he went over to Russia, so he did what he did. He come back over to America, and he interviewed Elon Musk, and he said that because Elon's bought
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Say no difference, John.
Mate, I'm old. I forget loads. I forget where I put my phone 20 times a day. He interviewed Elon Musk, and he said, "Do you think they're scared?" This was prior to the results of the election, and Elon said they want to be because Elon bought the tapes. The P. Diddy tapes. Elon bought them all. It's clear. He has an interview. He has all the tapes. And as soon as Trump says, "I swear on oath to be blah, blah, blah," them tapes are coming out.
Well, they think that's why there was a secret battleground behind Kamala versus Trump. And people were saying that the reason why was J-Lo? Why was Beyonce? Why was Usher? Why were these people
so
look close?
We can only say it's our opinion.
Of course.
It's only our opinion. The freedom of speech, ECHR. It's only my opinion. But in my honest opinion, the freak-offs didn't have 1-2 people in them, did they? There was many people going to them freak-offs. There was many people attending those parties. I've heard a couple of tapes. You don't know how true they are, but they don't sound good. And where did she get her money from? From zero to hero. She went from the worst, wherever she is, vice president, the worst on record, to pushed up front in a Democratic Party that wouldn't have voted her in, and she didn't even get past the first ballots in 2016. 2020, she was nowhere to be seen, so he put her there. She was put there by the Obamas. The Obamas, which is the leftist elite agenda. I believe that, my opinion, that the media moguls, the big leftist media people have given her money. I believe that as soon as Trump gets on the 20th of January, as soon as he gets through, Elon said there's a lot of scared people.
Well, it's concerning because, and maybe that's why they've probably been quite limited with what they're saying, Musk and stuff, because they're still in power right now. And, 50 days, you know what it's like.
They're open to start a world war before that comes, mate.
Yeah, so you know what it's like, when your birthday's next month, or it's Christmas, within December, you're a kid, Christmas is 25 days away. I'll give you a better one. You've got a week left on your prison sentence.
Oh, yeah, it's the longest 7 days of your life.
How long is these 50 days going to go on? Because we've already seen shit move swiftly with Russia. They are trying their best
to start a world war. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because when you start war, then you mobilise the country into a war state.
And you can't have the inauguration.
You can't have the inauguration. You can't have a vote. You can't... Oh, well, look at Ukraine. They were due a vote 12 months after the war started. Put on hold while we're at war. If you look at Israel, same thing.
They weren't unhappy within the people, weren't they?
They weren't happy. He was going. Being of Jewish heritage, since I found out, I ain't too proud of the things they are doing, and I keep getting called a racist, and people don't really know the race. I mean, we've gone from football to this in a quick, fast move. But this word racist, this word Nazi, it really annoys me, mate. I was in Auschwitz last year, and when you visit Auschwitz, you really know what a hateful race are.
Well, you said your missus is Polish, didn't you?
Yeah, my missus is Polish. My mum informed me the other day that she's
mad,
half Jewish. I didn't even know.
Jewish, Polish.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I'm Roman Catholic. I didn't even know. My mum told me it's not something they really speak about, but my nan was Jewish and yeah. So
do you know where from?
No, not a clue. I'm going to look now. No, I said it the other day on TikTok. I'm going to look now. I'm going to have a look.
Yeah.
But if that is my blood, I'm not very proud of what's going on. However,
you should be proud of where your roots are from.
Yeah,
regardless. Not proud of what people are doing. I get
proud of what they're doing. But however, it's a very fine line. October the 7th. Okay. They attacked what was a peaceful part of Israel. Israel wasn't at war. There was tit for tat with Hezbollah. I'm educated on this stuff. I read a lot. I've got a few Muslim friends. By the way, 30% of my staff are Muslims, just to tell you. Okay. So I talk to them. I educate myself. I don't like to be ignorant. I like to know certain things. They weren't at war. Yes, there's been territorial battle for thousands of years there. We went over there. There was 8 crusades. We had 8 crusades, back in the day. So there's been war for many years. I don't agree with land grabbing, but also I don't agree with terrorists running into another country, killing innocents, killing children. And you hear so much far left codswallop, I would swear, but I'm trying to hold it down, where they say it didn't happen, kids weren't killed. Mate, there's blood all over the walls on videos. There's pure proof that they did do what they done. How did they expect another country to react? It's just like what I say when you hit terrorism. How would you react if you watched Britain and America go over to the Middle East and kill your family 20 years later?
Exactly.
How would you react? As a Muslim if I was a Muslim, if I did live in Iraq or Afghanistan, and I watched what happened, on a false it was false, wasn't it? It was false pretense. We now know that. And you were free, and you watched your mum getting dragged out the house, put with a bag over her head, and you watched that. Would you turn to terrorism? Probably. You probably would, wouldn't you? If you watched your dad shot dead in front of you, you were free at the time. Now you're 23. Now you're 28. Would you have a problem? So on both sides,
yeah, but that's what you got to do is look at both sides.
You can look,
which a lot are not doing.
But what you can't look at is the Islamist. I don't even know how to say the word, mate. It's a certain narrative that we can't be Islamophobic. Is it?
Well, we're in the month of that now.
Why is it a month?
Is there a Christian month?
No, there's not. We get one day for the armistice. We get one day for V-Day.
And even those days are being sabotaged by...
And me, I did it on a TikTok, and my TikTok got hacked, by the way, by Muslims in Turkey, and I could say, all the Muslims. I don't think like that, mate. And this is... I had someone attack me the other day. Now, I was speaking to Stephen, actually. I don't know him that well, but we've had a little chat. He's put a few of my videos up on his post because I went to a Reform meeting. I weren't impressed at the Reform conference. And I spoke to Stephen. And then I put a TikTok out there where I said, look, I don't have total views that Stephen has because none of us do. He's got his views, I've got mine, and that's for freedom. But what I do give Stephen is the fact that he's got the balls to stand up for what he stands for. And so I've been to prison and looked at the judge in the face and said, I don't care if you send me to jail. I did what I did and I don't care. So you have to give that man, I can only give him credit for being, that patriotic, that he's willing to sacrifice his freedom.
Do you know about the documentary?
I watched the documentary. I like I said, I spoke to him the other day before he went to jail. He's very busy. I was trying to reach out to him because what I said to him was, although we're not 100% agreeable on all views, because like I say, I have 30% Muslim lads that do work for me, and they just see what the media put out. And I just wanted to speak to him and say, look, Steve, I know everyone calls him Tommy. I don't call him Stephen, right? Without him, those Muslims would still be raping kids in Yorkshire. That's the facts of it. Without him, there would still be grooming gangs. So no matter what my views are that we don't agree, the main thing that we do agree on, I'll be honest with you, I've opened up sex offenders in jail. I've opened them up. 83% of sex offenders in jail are white. Okay? But sex offenders that are white do it from behind the curtain. They do it from mum's hands. It's not organised. It's not a transaction. It's their perverted
on a screen.
And then they go and do whatever they do. I don't even think about it. Do you know what I mean? And then they don't go jail. And then this is one thing where me and Stephen are tied on. Yeah, and there's a reason for that. I was in a care home when my mum didn't pick me up in 1986, 1987. My mum didn't pick me up from the police station. So I got put in a care home, and I was in care for a year, on and off, in and out, in and out. And I heard the abuse that went on in the government care homes with my own ears. Now, they didn't touch me. And the only, thank God, I was either really ugly, but I thought I was a good...
Ruthless.
I thought I was a really good-looking kid, to be fair. But I was either really ugly or I was too mouthy. They only went after the quiet, reserved, and that generally is what these noncy fucks do. Like, so that was where I agreed with everything he said. And it is a fact that the Muslim grooming gangs were not prosecuted. Okay, they were not even investigated for fear. We all see what happened at Harefield the other month.
That was fucking mad.
And the police didn't even come out of the police station. They didn't even come out of the police station. So you have to look at it and say to yourself, what's going on here? Now, I spoke to a lad on TikTok who's very educated Muslim, and he really educated me. And what it is that they have a society where they feel shame, that they won't tell anyone this stuff because they're shamed of it. So they keep it in house. And don't be under no rules. They are...
But just like the Catholic Church?
Yeah, the same. Exactly. Now, I'm a Catholic. We all know, mate. Father fucking John down the road, mate, was nonsense for years. We all know that the Catholic Church has got as much demons as the Muslim religion. We all know that. Yeah, it's not something we hide. But I watched and I spoke to someone, and what he expressed to me was that they fear being targeted from minority, which will happen. And this is where Keir Starmer is jumping all over it, because he fears that everyone's going to name every Muslim a paedophile. But we know that's not true.
That's not true, yeah.
We know that I've got many Muslim friends
Same.
that would cut your head off if you interfered with their children, that have Western values, that love living in this country, are grateful that they came from, not being rude, a shithole where they were persecuted for being the wrong type of Muslim. Sunni, Shia, Wahhabi. I'm educated to this stuff, mate. I've read the Quran. I've read the transcribed English version, and in nowhere, and people like Stephen, this is where we do disagree. Stephen says in the Quran, it says to do certain stuff. It can be interpreted that way.
Yeah.
The same as the Bible
the wrong
can
way,
be
yeah.
interpreted. Yeah. It can be manipulated. Look, a human can do any amount of evil that he can think of, which is a worrying thing. Any amount of evil, whether it be rape, murder, child abuse, burglary, drug abuse, anything that someone can think they can do, it's only the restrictions that you've got morally that will stop you, of course, doing those things. And unfortunate, some religions have got some nonces in it, like ours. I'm Roman Catholic, mate, full of nonces. And some have got some terrorists, like ours, IRA. No? You know, and then you've got the Muslim fanatics, and you've got Jewish fanatics, and you've got, you know, mate, how many times has your door been knocked by a Jehovah's Witness who won't fucking go away? Like, they're fanatics, aren't they? You know, so we've all got it, and we have to, and that's why I called myself Unity, and that's why I was thinking, I've had abuse saying you want to support Tommy. Only yesterday, threats.
It's the small, yeah, because people are so fear.
You wanna support Tommy. You're saying stuff about Tommy. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not saying nothing about Tommy. I'm not saying that man's in prison, mate. Yeah, I will wait till he comes out. Now, we had a chat about the lad that died, that Peter lad, and I said to him, I pay for half his funeral. I didn't go on TikTok or YouTube or this. I messaged Stephen directly. Do you know him? Do you know his family? I've heard that you're going to fund his funeral. I'll give you half. Then he went jail. So I wasn't able to do it. I put out on TikTok, if anyone knows his family, get them to DM me. Didn't happen. I would have paid for half of it out of my own pocket. because what happened to that man's disgraceful. So I'm not slagging Stephen Yaxley off. I've been told, you want to be Stephen Yaxley. You're trying to be Tommy Robinson. No, I'm not. My name's Stephen Eldridge. I'm me. You can tell a liar, yeah? You've interviewed enough people. You can see in my eyes, I'm a fucking liar, yeah? When I was younger, I had to lie to feed myself.
You learned your lesson, didn't you, when you third?
Damn right, mate, when I got to smack shit out of in a cell for telling lies. Pretty quick. But as a youngster, probably told a few lies. Yeah, but you learn, you grow up. Probably told a few lies to a few women because I was doing bad stuff that I didn't want them to find out. I've apologised to the wives and that. But I don't want to be Stephen Yaxley. I don't want to be the next Tommy Robinson.
I think it's a fucking massive burden to do that.
I don't think I've got the strength to be Tommy. And I'm a strong human being, man. I've been through some shit. But he's like, I've been down the block for a month.
Fucks for you.
Human beings need human beings to survive. Yeah. All ants need ants. If you take an ant out of a column, he's nothing. He's just an ant. So now, Stephen is an ant on his own. Can you imagine? So I feel for him, and I don't want to be him, and I don't always agree with everything he says.
Well, you can imagine, can't you? You know what it's like when you're in a cell and the keys jingle, and it's probably opening the cleaners.
He never knows.
For me, you don't know that's the next person opening the door.
He doesn't know. He's probably lucky that after screws wouldn't say it because they can't because they're jobs. But he's only
got the same belief.
He's only lucky that most of them screws have got the same beliefs. Believe me. Now I'll tell you a story why. One day a screw came to me and put a message under my door in Bedford in 1999. Okay, and on that bit of paper it said, "The man down the cell from you is in the News of the World, page 19, and he's a sex offender." That man got stabbed to death.
Fucking hell.
In front of my very eyes. So much so I was mopping. I don't care because I didn't do it. I got interviewed for it. I got nicked for it. I got shipped to Woodhill. I was in Woodhill where Stephen is. I got rushed out of jail because I opened up another sex offender. I couldn't help it. I just hated them. They all got a funny look about them. But you never know when you're going to be intact in a prison. And we all know, and I'm going to talk about this. The last jail sentence I was in, I was approached by a couple of Muslim lads. Now, I'm Roman Catholic. I've got it stamped all over my body on tattoos, and I don't take my cross off, jail or no jail. And I was approached by a Muslim lad, and he said, "Steve, why don't you come mosque?" And I said, "I'm Roman Catholic." He said, "Yeah, we accept all." I said, "I'm Roman Catholic. I don't go to mosque. I go to church." So I know for a fact that in the jails at the moment, there are radical Muslims that are converting. And what they convert, mate, is the low class, white, black people. The people with no visitors, the people that have been on the streets, the people with no money, the people with no friends. And they are very kind to them. Very kind. They give them food. They give them tobacco. They give them a bit of spice. Yeah, because don't think because you're a Muslim, you don't drink or you don't smoke spice. Mate, I've had a Muslim lad drink a bit of alcohol. I said, "I thought you were Muslim, you don't drink." He said, "Yeah, but when I turn my back, Allah ain't watching." He said it to my face. So not everybody follows their religion to the true. I don't follow Catholicism to the true event. I have sex outside of marriage. So we don't follow it 100%. And the conversion rate in England at the moment is massive. So where Tommy sits now, he'll be in the block, or he'll be in segregation, or he'll be in the high security A spot where your man
Ian Huntley was in Ian Huntley's cell, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think. But in Woodhill, they had, when I was there, they had what's his name, man? Fellow with a beard who's been there years.
Bronson.
Yeah, he was there. When I got shipped out from that geezer getting killed, they ACAT'd me. I was 21. They ACAT'd me, mate. When what they want to do with you, they do with you. Do you know what I mean? And
to make you fit, to make you, yeah.
And the area where Woodhill is, where Bedford is predominantly a Muslim area. So we all know there's predominantly Muslims in the jail. If you're in a predominantly white area, it'd be predominantly white people in the jail. They've moved him from where he was perfectly safe to at risk. And now they're on about moving him again. Where? Why would you move someone on a 18-month sentence 3 times? I never went anywhere on an 18-month sentence.
Well, that's what Park Prison I'll break it down in a Welsh term. So in Wales, you've got Cardiff, Swansea, got a new one, Berwyn, Park Prison.
So the big one.
Yeah, Berwyn's the super one. Park, so Cardiff and Swansea local jails. Park was over 2 years, over 18 months, or 12.
Yeah.
20, what is it? 12 and 12 is
Whitemore's over 7 years.
You'd stay in Cardiff, or you'd stay
don't
in.
leave.
No, exactly.
They don't transfer.
And it's not it's a civil thing, and then not a proper offence either.
He should be in decap. So, like I say, I'm going to repeat it again. I don't think I'm Tommy Robinson. I don't want to be Tommy Robinson. I'm not here to get viewers, followers, or money. I don't need any of it. I'm here for one reason. Yeah, I was invited by yourself. And British people do have to unite. And I mean Muslims. Because, believe it or not...
And under what, though? Unite under what?
Well, we need
under the British culture,
need to
British values?
British values.
Yeah. No.
Because you left that shithole where they cut your hand off if you stole them. Thank God we don't do that here. I'd have no hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'd be dead, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
You left a culture where you run away. But here's the irony. These people land on these shores, throw their passports away, and this is where me and Stephen do tie up. Yeah,
well, why do they throw it away?
Right, so they throw their passports away, so they can't allocate them to a country to return to. So that's the first thing. But mate, my wife come here, yeah, and I'm not going to say, but she came here in a certain way before there was Europe. All right, I can't say too much, but she was able to, let's say, get documentation. You got money, you can get anything. She got it from, I can't even say, yeah, because obviously I can't even say. But she came here, she's a legal citizen now. But there's ways to come into this country, get documentation unofficially, okay, go to work unofficially, then gain citizenship unofficially, then make it official after you've been here so many years, and then you're on holiday in the shithole you left. You couldn't make it up. They come here on a boat claiming persecution. And this is where me and Tommy do tie up, and I do believe everything he says about this stuff, yeah? Certain things, no, but this stuff and other stuff, he's 100% right, and he's gone to jail for his fucking values. And I hold my hand up to him, mate, because many people here shit themselves and grass everyone up. Because all he had to do was open his phone, and he wouldn't have gone jail. But he didn't, did he? He didn't open his phone, and that's why they remanded him, and then he got a sentence. It was all a trick. Do you know what I mean? They come to this country in their thousands. Did you hear? 970,000 legal immigrants to 2023.
Yeah, that's just legal.
Right. 700,000 illegal in 3 years. So that's 1.5 million.
It's a city.
It's 2 cities. Leeds has got 700,000.
Yeah. Well, depending on
what city.
Yeah. 2 Birminghams.
And then they come here.
Oh, Birmingham.
And then they say that they're getting persecuted. They say that they're where's their wives? If I was going to leave from a place that was threatening my life, I'm taking my wife and kids with me. Yeah. So where's their wives? They're not. They're coming here for financial gain, to be filtered out of our country. Have you been to Romania?
The gaps are massive, innit?
They all took them bounce back loans, mate, and pissed off home with 200, 300, 400 grand. 4 companies, 5 companies. You've got to give it to them, because we're not that clever, are we? Yeah, but they come here under that ruse that they're getting persecuted. They get all the benefits. And then lo and behold, 2 years later, and this is what the Germans have been looking at their passports. They've been flying back to Syria for holiday.
Where they're meant to be fleeing.
But they were fleeing Syria for persecution, or fleeing Afghanistan or fleeing.
And it's I think this is why the Trump. I think America and Britain are different on these scales. Let's say
they're too nice.
Well, you would say that they're coming from all over the world, but mainly their migrant crisis for a long time was South American, Latin Americans. Ours was more Islamic, wasn't it? But what they didn't realize, the Democrats, was a lot of people, a lot of migrants who have moved,
flying into Mexico and then coming that way.
Yeah, they were doing that. But what I'm saying is why they didn't realize, the Democrats, they ran on, the border. They don't want you in the country. But there's millions of migrants who went there the correct way, who can't stand the people who have come there the wrong way. They've worked so hard to get there. They don't want the wrong ones from their country either. And I know someone here, I've got a friend, Eric, his missus is a Hungarian. She is like, I cannot believe I have just got my citizenship. I've worked so hard to do this. I work honest. And you got these people coming in.
I'm going to tell you something now. Yesterday, my wife went for citizen exam in Hounslow. Okay. She was the only white person in the queue. Now, whether that be colour is irrelevant. They were all Muslim, Afghan, Syrian, Kurdish, Sudanese, Ethiopians in the queue. Okay. Now, if she's been here 24 years, she's paid tax for 24 years. She, obviously, I'm not going to name her. She has done everything possible to better her life because she left communist Poland. Okay. So she's an immigrant. What do you think she thinks? She's got to pay I've got to pay £1,800 it is to get a British. I wish I'd have took the camera. I said, I missed out a trick there, didn't I?
Well, I'll tell you what you did miss out on a trick on, is moving to fucking Poland with her now, because that's the safest fucking place.
Which is impossible for me to do, being outside the EU, which I just found out last week from a solicitor.
You already looked at it, did you?
I've already done it. I can go to Poland. I looked at going to Poland. It's something that we're still going to look at, but you've got to remember that her daughter's British. She's been here her whole life. Yeah. So how do I take her? She speaks Polish. She doesn't read it.
It's like with me and you, criminal records. I don't know the long term or whatever, but like, I'd love to go to Australia, New Zealand. I'd love to have gone to America. I've got a criminal record. I can. But do you know what?
No, you can.
Oh, you can. But you know what? In my head, I always thought I couldn't.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and sneak in there.
No, they'll chuck you out.
Why are people sneaking into this country then? If everyone says, oh yeah, no, they're fleeing, but why can't they come in the correct way? They're paying X amount of thousands to get you illegally. Why can't you do that legally?
Well, they can, but it's not financially viable legally, is it? Because for my missus to get a British citizenship, it's nearly $4,000. So they would rather pay the $3,000 to the transporters, get here. They haven't got to find accommodation. So there's a difference between illegal and legal migration. Legal migration, they've got to find their own housing. They've got to find their own jobs. They've got to find their own a way of life. And majority of legal migration come here, there's already people here, there's already somewhere to stay. Okay? Illegal, there isn't. When they come here illegally, they haven't got a home to stay in. So think about it financially. You're going to go to a country financially, and you're not going to have to pay rent. You're going to get given money. You're going to get...
I am listening. I just got
That's all right.
Someone's...
That's all right.
Go on.
You're going to get money. You're going to get... A lad raided a hotel the other day, and there was an NHS dentist and an NHS doctor in the hotel. Now, I don't know about you, but I had a doctor's appointment for 2.5 years. And I had to go Turkey for my teeth. So there is no...
there was this thing as well about culture, and you probably get it yourself, being accused of being a racist or whatever, when you go, well, you like a curry, don't you? You like a fucking... And you're like, what has cuisine got to do with right and wrong on shit like this? Or you go to Turkey to get your teeth done, no?
Yeah, so what? I just paid him
But I'm not living there. Yeah,
I paid him $6,000 to have my teeth done. I just paid $5,000 for my hair. So I paid the geezer. They're not paying me nothing. They're taking. You can't go, like, so France, for instance, we gave them £500 million to protect our borders. I reckon Macron went on a party with it because there's no one protecting our borders. If you really wanted to protect the border, you'd put an army there, no?
Of course you would.
And £500 million pays for that, no?
Well, they've just said, I don't know if that's the same money, but, well, it won't be because that's France, but they have now looked at to smash the gangs. They're going to put money out to all the countries. Look, how does this make sense? Let's put money into the countries that are the people that come in here. Why don't you, rather than, instead of protecting the borders of all those countries, how many miles diameter, is our country?
You could protect...
Thousands?
They said you can protect it with 10 ships.
Well, why ain't...
Because a ship on a radar can pick up so many miles, yeah?
Well, this is why I think this is more of a plan.
Yeah, they say, I hear that all the time. They say that this is a sitting army, that soon as anything, they're going to bring them out. Well, God forbid them, mate, because they haven't met us, have they? You know, any people that invaded, even down to the Romans, they stayed here a little while, but they didn't stay forever, did they? Because in the end, the people will unite. And I'll be honest, I will lay my life down to protect my family. I wouldn't be bothered. I'm 50. What do I care? I'm nearly dead anyway. So I believe that the British people, at some point, which is why I called myself Unity for Great Britain, is that I believe that even the westernised Muslims will realise what's happening very shortly. I do. And I hope it doesn't happen. I hope that there is no civil war. I don't call for any violence. I don't call for any hatred. And that's the one thing I always say I don't want. I've seen so much violence in my life, mate. I've seen people killed. I've seen people, have you ever seen the old jug in the jail where their face melts? I've seen people die of cancer. I've seen my dad die. I've seen death, yeah. I didn't even tell my mum this. I've been stabbed twice. My mum don't even know that. I didn't tell her. Do you know what I mean? My mum don't know, yeah. I've been shot at,
Enough to be done with.
I don't want that. I don't want my children to grow up without violence. But they say that there can be no change without violence. I just hope it don't happen. I just hope that Prime Minister.
Well, let's finish up on this misery guts. Go on.
Yeah. Look at him.
Look. Well, Harrison asked me earlier, what is it about Keir Starmer that people don't like?
Well, look at his history. Look at what he's done. The only reason those people are getting benefit payments now is because of Keir Starmer. Because of a legal action he took for 5 illegal immigrants that fought to stay in this country and needed legal aid. And he fought in the High Court and won the case, and he represented 5 out of the 6.
Pro bono as well, apparently.
Correct. He did it for free. Okay. Now, Keir Starmer's father, or his great-grandfather, was called Keir, I believe. His great-grandfather. And someone said to me, from a man so great, no, it wasn't his grandfather. The leader of the Labour Party, who set the Labour... So let me get this right. The leader of the Labour Party who set the Labour Party up, his name was Keir. And he turned up at Westminster after being voted in for a Labour working party. And he turned up, this was what it was. He turned up at Westminster dressed in his civvies, in dirty work gear. And the Westminster back at the day, this fella's name was Keir, so this is a fact. And this is who Keir was named after. He turned up at Westminster and he was in his work gear, he's all dirty, and they said, you can't come in here like this. The leader of the Labour Party, original founder. And he said, I'm for the working people, so I will be coming in like this. And Keir was named after him. What fucking happened?
He be turning in his fucking grave right now.
Mate, what happened? What happened to the Labour Party we love to hate? Like the working lunatic left, like... Something's happened, and I believe he's been bought by somebody somewhere, just like Obama and Michelle Obama. Yeah,
People ain't ready for that shit.
yeah, they're not ready for that. But have a look at Michael's Adam's apple.
I know. I've seen Anna Cross.
Oh, mate, please, yeah, and huge hands, yeah. But I truly believe that this man's here to destroy the Western civilization. And there's a big...
Antichrist level?
Yeah, Antichrist level. He was in an interview and he said, choose over Westminster or Davos. He said Davos. He can't take that away. He said in an interview he was going to protect the farmers and he wouldn't tax them. What did he do? He said he sat with an old lady. And they even done a review, didn't they, about how many old people will die.
Size of a small town.
And he done that review, got the results. And what did he do? He said he wouldn't tax the people. Do you think they didn't know that by taxing companies that would be taxing the people? Unemployment is on the rise. He's going to get a shock with inflation. That's on the rise.
The level of poverty in this country is on the rise. The companies folding in this country is on the rise. After Christmas, I had a chat with a lad, and he said, watch after Christmas, thousands of companies are going to go bump because they can't afford the national insurance increase. Everything he's done has manipulated a system under a pretense of doing it for the country, but there's nothing positive. And that's what made me. I've never been on the internet in my life, mate. I've never been on TikTok. I'm 49 nearly, yeah. Never been on it in my life. And I'm on TikTok getting hacked because I ain't got a clue what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
There's a reason why you're on here, isn't there?
Well, I always believed that I could make a difference somewhere. I don't know why. I just always believed that maybe I could make a difference as me, not as Stephen, actually.
So if I asked you then, like, what is it that you think that you could make a difference with? What would your ideal end be with this? Like,
So look, here's my end, and it starts at school, doesn't it? I never paid interest at school, never fitted in really, as most addicts find they don't really fit in. But my daughter's going for it now, and I believe I'll probably go to jail. I will probably, for the school issue. We are no longer educating our children to be men, to be women. We are no longer educating our children in the British values. To be fair, her school have just taught her about the Second World War, which I was so pleased about because I love it, yeah. But the education system, the policing system, the social system, the policing college, the government councils are being radically taken over by a lunatic ideology of leftism, socialism, which, by the way, has never worked in any country that it was ever invented in. Look at the socialist countries. To buy a loaf of bread, you need money that big. In the end.
Money means fuck all, doesn't it?
It's just paper. Food. So I hope that even if I just change one leftist's views about the values and morals of the correct way to live your life, educate yourself, work hard, love your family. One thing we don't do in the West. The one thing that other ethnicities,
they look
other
after
cultures,
each other, don't
they look after their old parents. Stop chucking your old parents in care homes that are owned by multi-corporate companies that just torture you. And that the geezer in the jail that got unalived, that's why he got unalived, because he tortured old people. Yeah. Look after your old people. Look after children. Me, I'm nearly gone and I'm nearly 50. I've got 20 years if I'm lucky. I don't really care, to be honest. But I do care about my grandkid. I do care about my son who's currently on a line of going the wrong way. And let's go on with this. Can you get a rehab if you're poor? No, you can't. Can you get medical assistance if you're poor? No, you can't. Can you go to the dentist if you're poor? No, you can't. And finally, let's hit Khan. Can you go into the capital city of this great nation if you're poor? No, you can't. So what's going on? Are we being bought out? Are we being costed out? Are we being priced out of life? Seems that way, doesn't it? We're going to go soon because it's been a while, yeah.
Sadiq Khan.
Sadiq Khan is evil. He is evil. He has been implanted here, I believe, by Wahhabis to break away the nationality, the identity of our nation, to tell us that it's great that we're multicultural, it's great, all the while advertising non-white swimming lessons, all the while having boroughs that say National Muslim Housing Society. Can you imagine, as a white man, if I put up, like we did in the 50s, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish? That's literally what they're doing now. No whites, no free thinkers, no freedom of speech. It's happening in London now. And they say, well, you voted him in. No, we didn't. And I would like to question the postal vote counts that he gets because they're untraceable.
Yeah, I actually thought that because he got voted in recently again.
Postal votes.
What does that mean?
So that means people that can't travel, don't have access to internet, can't use internet. Well, what would that be, mate? Who wouldn't be able to use an English internet? Who wouldn't be able to travel because they didn't know where they were going, mate? You'd be talking immigrants, no? Let's be fair, you'd be talking immigrants. London...
They got the free travel pass as well, haven't they?
They haven't got it yet. It's been asked for in London Assembly. They already have free travel to their appointments. So why do they need free travel?
So I got someone who he works in like housing. You know, his boss got loads of houses, rents them out, and he refurbishes them, whatever. He said to me, "You won't believe how many of them he has taken for illegal migrants just because of the money the government are offering to pay him. It's consistent and this thing," which I said, he's a wrong one.
He's a wrong one. He's selling that. These people, mate, this is what I'm passionate about. See these hoteliers, never forget them.
Yeah.
Never forget these hoteliers that are putting up illegal immigrants. Never forget, because it won't continue forever. Like, I'm passionate about this. These people that have took advantage of the niceties and the hospitality of the British society, never forget those those hotel companies. Never forget them. When this ends, I'm going to speak to this. When this ends, when we finally do win, and we've never lost a war, did you know that? When we finally win this battle, which we will, Islamization, I don't even know how to say the word, will not happen in Britain. They've gone too early. They're like a peacock. They're only small, but when they spread their wings, they look big. But you shut the wings down, they're still a little bird. They're only 7% of this country. Still, they've gone too early. They should have waited till they were 20%. But they've gone too early, yeah? This country will not be Islamic. This country will not change because people like me, people like Stephen Yaxley, people like you, we are not going to change our values and they will get a shock. Little Britain beat Germany. Little Britain beat Germany. Never mind the American help, yeah? Without our foresight and our technology and our military history, we beat Germany. They come with some goods and some ammunition and some cannon fodder and people, but the military strategic war was won by British intelligence. End of story. Read your books, yeah? It won't happen. And Sadiq Khan, mate, if you do get to watch this, why don't you answer some questions in the General Assembly instead of insulting people when they ask you? Crime's on the rise, rape is on the rise, gun crime with assaults on the rise, knife crime with death is on the rise, black on black crime. Young black lads in England, young British black lads in England are about 5 times more likely to die than you are. Why is that? Why are you not protecting young British black men?
Yeah, but it's like we get accused, like it's our problem.
Well, it's not white people's problem, black on black crime. In London, black on black crime is massive.
We don't give them the opportunities.
No,
what they would say. The left.
Well, hold up a minute. Did I get the opportunity? Mate, I'm from a council estate. Does it matter that I'm a white lad? I still come from a council estate. Still sold drugs. I've done exactly what they done. No different.
No,
like,
I agree.
Different. Like, my mate's a black lad, mate. And I'm going to say it now. My best pal, my best man at my wedding, all right, is a black man, yeah? And he agrees with me.
Just wanted to say quickly, though, yeah? So the guy who was working as the middleman in here, I was like, mate, I fucking can't believe it. Like, it's devastating me. He said, you won't believe it. He said, I went in this one house. The guy they got the top of the range electric bikes because they do all the Deliveroo shit.
Yeah, stop that and all.
Yeah. And it's like, he said he went in there the one time, right, when he was having a Zoom call, and he said he was on a Zoom call on his own, and you could see there was about 20 professionals, white people, professionals, yeah, right? Oh, is there anything else we can help with? So you got your free gym membership, we're going to get you a new bike because his bike got stolen. Is there anything else we can help you with? All given to him for fuck all. And then there's people like me up there and people who've got kids who would love to get a fucking electric bike for their kids for Christmas. Busting their ball, can't afford it, and this guy's getting another one because he got. And do you know why he didn't get it nicked? Do you know what happened?
He sold it.
No, you're not allowed to drive the bikes. Yeah,
took it.
You're not allowed to drive them in the city centres. Yeah. And they've just forgot about the rules. Got to take it off him and got a new bike the next day.
They're £300 each minimum.
grand, some of them.
Oh, are they?
These electric bikes.
I don't
Some
know.
of them are like a grand. Like.
Bought a scooter to run around Millwall. That's what I did.
But yeah, it's
Do you know what? We just need to stop this. Like, you're a racist if you're white and you've got opinions. You're a Nazi if you're white and you have an opinion. Because there's plenty of black people, plenty of Indian people, plenty of Asian people, Muslim people that are not happy, mate.
Well, we need them to. We need it all to come together, don't we? On
You
that.
know what I think sometimes? Yeah, sometimes I think that they have family back home that could be under threat.
I agree.
That's what I sometimes think, that they're too scared, because if they do say something,
They'll-
they have, well, anything can happen over in Afghanistan, anything can happen over there. So I sometimes believe that the westernized Muslims are too scared to stand up against. I mean, even when there's a bombing now, it's not terror related. When you get a soldier stabbed 8 times in Kent, it's not terror related. When you get bombed, have you seen the recent bomb scares all around the country? No mention, mate. Yeah. When you get a lad going down Borough Market, by the way, I was just going through there on the way to Millwall just after that, or just before that happened. I'd just gone through it. I'd just gone through Borough Market. Hour later, a Somali Muslim was stabbed. 3 people and 1 died. Non-terror related. They say it's non-terror related straight away.
It's terror.
And the last thing, Southam, we have to be very careful on what we talk about. But if Nigel's,
Southam, what do you mean?
the young girls that were killed in Southam,
Right, yeah.
and the lad that has been put in prison for it, started out, everyone got nicked because they were misinforming and misinformation and aggressive that he wasn't a Muslim. Well, he was, and he is. They then raided his house. They done that within 10 hours of him being in the police cell. They raided his house. That didn't come out for 5 months, 4 or 5 months, that he had ricin documents and processes for do you know how hard it is to make ricin, mate? Out of kidney beans. It's a poison, toxic poison, ricin, yeah? 2 grams of it will kill 10 people. So if there's 10 people in this room, put 2 grams there, they're all dead. And he was reading an Al-Qaeda training manual. That's been out on the news, so I can say that.
The Southport when
Southport, not Southam, Southport, yeah. If it comes out, what I think will come out,
the Rwanda, that like I don't know.
I don't know. It's only what I've heard, only my opinion. But if it comes out that we were misled and lied to, because I even said, "Oh, sorry, he's Catholic. My apologies." But he wasn't, was he? He's a convert. And if it comes out that the people in charge, and we know we're talking about, yeah, had anything to do with hiding that will be the biggest miscarriage of justice that them girls could ever get. Will it not?
100%.
Yeah. And if it comes,
How many people were like angry and furious about it?
how many riots were caused because of the lack of correct information?
And the language used.
And the language he used, standing up there, we will not tolerate. What about the Jews getting persecuted every day? Have you been through London in the marches, mate? Have you been? You might want to take your camera and go to one of them marches, because you will be harassed and abused and assaulted. They will assault you, mate. They will push you and shove you and call you a Nazi, but they're allowed to protest death to Israel, death to people, and no one's arrested.
So any sides, Steve, it's been a great conversation, mate.
It is, yeah.
I'd love to have you back again. You know what? We've gone through everything, mate, right? And it's been a real pleasure. Derek Diablo.
Cardiff, what did you do?
Oh, listen. Like we do with all our guests.
Eric Diablo.
We do this with all our guests. Down that camera, if you could leave Britain with a positive message.
Do you know what? Things can change. Not everything stays the same.
So, few words, very strong. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Again, Stephen Eldridge on TikTok, Unity for Great Britain 2.
Thank you very much.
All right, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I've got hacked. So the first one's gone. Well, it's still there, but it's been hacked.
Yeah. So yeah, you might see his other one might come up. That's got over 20,000 followers, and you've only just been doing it recently. You started a new page yesterday, day before.
3 days ago. I could do with a few ads, because I like to get my message out there. Not for. Do you know what they hacked it? We're going to end on this. They hacked it for money. So they hacked all the creators. So be very careful.
Yeah.
Because if you are earning a living, which this is your living, it's not my living, they hacked it so that they could
Be careful.
get the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is. I don't do it for money. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, guys. Until next time, stay central.
The Central Club.